iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz.
The full circle moment that the piano lesson has been for me never gets old. It just reminds me of how far I've come. And I'm very grateful to be able to look back and say, I was 17 years old at Juilliard, or trying to get into Juilliard, going over these monologues in South Carolina, and just practicing and practicing and working to getting to this point, to actually be on the stage, having the actual piano right in front of me, all these people watching with Sam Jackson, and his wife directing. I'm just very, very, it just reminds me of how far I've come. I enjoyed working with Miss LaTanya, first because I think we both see ourselves in each other, and just having a black female woman directing me on this project, there was a lot of conversations that we just didn't have to have. Like, she could say one thing to me and I would understand exactly what she meant. For example, I remember her saying, why are you walking so old? And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, the character, you walking like she's 60, 70 years old. And I'm like, well, she's been through a lot in life. And then I was like, she's right. Why am I walking like a 70-year-old? Okay, she's 35. So just those little things that I could have gotten away with, giving reason to why she had all this hard life experience to some other director. But with LaTanya, there was such a great shorthand. It definitely felt like having an uncle and a brother, in this process. I've actually known both families for a while now, where we've been to each other's homes and played spades, celebrated birthdays, watched Super Bowl, so it felt very natural and easy to lean in and work with them. The biggest thing that I learned about myself was that I am capable of being the leading lady that I am. It's one thing to have the desire, but to actually step into that position, especially on a stage where there was only one other woman. We had a little girl, but one other woman. It really makes you step up to the challenge. And so I'm really grateful for the piano lesson, Bernice, letting me really embody and live through that experience. I think one of the moments that really stands out to me is when Bernice says, you trying to tell me a woman can't be nothing without a man, but you all right, huh? And the women in the audience going, It just was like, yeah, y'all understand. Like, these words really are like still relevant today. So I really enjoyed getting to deliver that speech every night and hearing the response from women who could relate. It was probably one of the biggest challenges of my acting career, having to fully do every line of this massive playwright. He is what some might say the equivalent of a Shakespeare. You know what I mean? And can you imagine just doing a full Shakespeare play without any cuts? That's how this was. And so sometimes just finding, like, how can I say this? I've been told this, brother, you ain't taking this piano 30,000 times. How else can I say it? But that's the challenge of the artist, is to make it work. And I think we all have to. I really have to say, yes, this film, this adaptation of the musical will give the theater nerds everything you want. I promise. Being one myself, it will not disappoint. It's been like the joy of my past year and a half. Hopefully in your career, if it's a character that you love as much as I love Sophia, get to show yourself in the role in many different forms. So to get to do the theater thing, to get to do it as a musical, movie, I'm just like, I'm like, this is awesome. This is everything I would want my career to look like. So I'm very, very grateful that they gave me a shot, because they did make your girl audition, okay? So the cast is insane. The cast is insane. I'm joined by the brilliant Fantasia, who also was on Broadway with Color Purple, Corey Hawkins, Taraji P. Henson, Coleman Domingo, who's also a theater, all of them really. It's a full house of mostly theater actors, which is really awesome. And yeah, you know what sparks me to say yes to something is if I've never seen someone that looks like me in that type of role. So doing Much Ado About Nothing and stepping into the lead in that I've never seen that. So I think that's one. And then if it's a revival, it just has to be like one of those parts where you got to do it, you know? So Black Women on Broadway was created by myself, Jocelyn B.O., and Ambry Mon during the pandemic, where we were all trying to figure out our place, what to do. And so we put this together, which first started out as a lot of classes, Zooms, teaching people how to start producing their own work or how to start writing. And then we led into having our first celebration, our first soiree, award show, where we honored 3 women. And last year we honored Carrie Young, Lynn Nottage, and Queen Jean. And this year we are gearing up. I don't think I can say yet who we are honoring, but it's really exciting. But it's to remind Black women that our place is very important, just as anyone else's place is, and that we can create our own tables. We don't have to wait for people to celebrate each other. And what we've also found, like, there are a few women that have been gifted these beautiful positions on Broadway, like Phantom of the Opera or Wicked or New York, New York, where they're the only Black woman. So just reminding them, like, you're not out here alone. You have community when you feel like you need somewhere to go. And so I'm very happy that we were able to get Black Women on Broadway on its feet. And anybody can check it out, blackwomenonbroadway.com. We need your help, okay? Ooh, girl. Well, to be honest, what next for me is continuing to be a mom and a wife. And that's been really fun because ever since I had my daughter, I've been working, doing Peacemaker on HBO, and I did Mahalia, so I just hadn't really stopped. So to finally just take a second and just like remember why I'm doing all of this. So yeah, I've just been mom and wife right now.
iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz.